Wyoming News Now starts now.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Layla Martinez. We're going to get started with a look at our weather. So Austin, what's going on outside?
Thanks, Layla. Looking around outside, it's pretty warm around the area still. We do have a warm day, but a cloudy day here in Cheyenne. So taking a look around at our current temperatures, a lot of 60s and 70s around the area, all the way from Cheyenne up through towards Casper and over to Riverton as well. But if we look off to our west, the colder temperatures are on the way on the western edge of Wyoming, and they're trying to creep on over into the Casper area. And eventually they will, but unfortunately for us, not today. Taking a look at our current winds, we do have some stronger winds on the southern parts of Wyoming, southeastern parts, especially as well in Rawlins, Laramie, Lander, Rock Springs, all above 20 miles an hour for those winds. So we got to be ready for some strong gusts of wind here and there. But today for our upcoming weather, warm and breezy today, a chance of rain in some spots, especially in Cheyenne here tonight, and snow is likely through the area tomorrow, mainly in Cheyenne tomorrow and Casper into tomorrow evening and Saturday morning. But I'll have more on that snow for you later on. Let's head back to the desk for now.
Spring-like weather can be a welcoming feeling for most, but after last week's record-setting blizzard in Natrona County, could the warmer temperatures also create some problems? As 3+ feet of snow begin to melt in Casper, it creates what's called a stormwater. All stormwater eventually drains into the stormwater system, which may have some residents worried about potential flooding. But sanitary and stormwater manager Krista Johnston says residents of Casper shouldn't have too much to fear.
Is the whole world going to flood, and should I build an ark?
We are not going to flood at this point from the snow event that we had last week. Fortunately, it's warmed up slowly enough that it melted off and didn't cause flooding. If we get clogs in the pipes or at the storm drains themselves, that can lead to localized flooding and unfortunately property damage, and we want to prevent that at all costs.
Johnson wants residents to remember they can play a vital role in preventing residential flooding by keeping gutters and drains clear of litter and debris, which helps prevent the pooling of stormwater. As we continue to recognize public safety responders, one local advocacy project sheds light on a continuing issue. Our Richard Rober has the story.
The month of April is known for Arbor Day, but today, April 12th, is known for National Child Abuse Prevention Month, which affects many kids, even here in Casper.
It happens so much more than we realize, and it's just, like I said, it's not something you think about every day because it's hard to think about, but knowing how many kids, the majority of the kids we see are sexual abuse victims. We also have physical abuse, witness to violence, domestic violence, those kind of things, sometimes more horrific crimes, but kidnapping. We've had some pretty difficult cases that have come in over the years, and if people weren't there to report, then who knows what would have happened to the kids sometimes.
Mayor Bruce Nell, who spoke at today's Pinwheels Garden event, proclaimed today to be Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Day.
Therefore, I, Bruce Nell, Mayor of the City of Casper, Wyoming, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month.
The reason behind the pinwheels represents many things, but the real reason will surprise you.
Just not even be aware of if you haven't had any family members or friends or anything experience child abuse. And so it's easier to kind of not keep it in the forefront of your mind. So I think the pinwheels are a great representation in it.
Local chapter Guardians of the Children's Motorcycle Club, who provide assistance and help for kids that have been abused, shared their thoughts and hopes to help build a better community.
The biggest frustration, I think, for a lot of people, especially in this organization, as well as these groups like this, is when people are aware of things. No one wants it in their backyard. No one wants it to be in front of them, but the fact is that it is. So if you, our message to you, to people out there is, if you see something, say something, because you never know when it's going to affect anybody close to home.
I'm Richard Rober, Wyoming News Now.
If you or someone you know has been a victim of child abuse, the Children's Advocacy Project urges you to call local law enforcement to receive help. Coming up next, a new push for electric vehicles and find out what's going on at the Pentagon. All of that and more coming up next. The person behind a massive leak of classified U.S. military documents reportedly worked on a military base. That's according to a Washington Post report published Wednesday. It says the man posted sensitive national security secrets on Discord, a social media platform popular with video gamers. The report describes the alleged leaker as a, quote, lonely young man and gun enthusiast who went by the name of OG online. According to a friend of the man, he allegedly posted nearly verbatim transcripts of classified intelligence documents, which he apparently brought home from his job on the military base. The friend would not reveal the identity of the alleged leaker or his location to authorities. Buckle up, the car culture in America is evolving. And new proposed rules from the EPA could move the country along faster. Strict new tailpipe standards, if approved, will see most new passenger cars go electric within the next decade. The Biden administration's aggressive moves represents a show of force on battling the climate crisis, and they say will strengthen jobs and the economy while reducing reliance on foreign oil. Gloria Pazimo has the details.
The Biden administration is betting big on electric.
We're driving towards a clean energy future.
On Wednesday, the Environmental Protection Agency proposed new car emission standards that could require electric vehicles to account for up to 2/3 of new cars sold in the U.S. by 2032.
We're starting to see all of the auto industry move in this direction.
Transportation is the biggest source of greenhouse pollution in the U.S., with light-duty vehicles accounting for 58% of those emissions. EPA Administrator Michael Regan says the goal is not only to tackle the climate crisis, but to bolster the economy long term.
This is a really exciting proposal that codifies the president's vision for an electric future that wins the day in manufacturing and jobs as well.
The rules are intended to push the auto industry toward electrification and increase supply.
We see that consumers are really responsive to EVs when they get their hands on them.
Still, not everyone is ready to buy in. 41% of Americans polled by Gallup last month said they would not buy an electric vehicle. But the White House hopes tax incentives like a credit up to $7,500 for new EV purchases will help drive Americans to electrify.
We're going to save consumers money. This is a huge opportunity for everyone in this country.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
The Attorney General for the U.S. Virgin Islands is accusing one of the biggest banks in the world of knowing about the sex abuse allegations against Jeffrey Epstein. The AG made the allegations against J.P. Morgan Chase in a new court filing on Wednesday. The filing accuses bank officials of being aware of the sex abuse and trafficking claims against Epstein several years before the bank cut ties with their then client. The court document also alleges the financial institution was aware of potentially suspicious cash withdrawals made by Epstein. The Attorney General is accusing J.P. Morgan of obstructing federal law enforcement and prosecuting agencies that pursued Epstein. Epstein pled guilty to soliciting prostitution with a minor in Florida back in 2008, but he remained a client of J.P. Morgan until 2013. The complaint is a new addition to a lawsuit brought against J.P. Morgan back in December. The financial institution has declined to comment about the newly filed complaint, but attorneys for them have denied the allegations in the lawsuit.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look and see what we got going on here tonight, and what's going on with our travel. So here in Cheyenne, it's a little cloudy here and there, but taking a look at our temperatures, pretty warm, about 68 degrees, a very light wind around 13 miles an hour, and it does feel like 68 out there. So a nice warm day. And over in Casper, it's a warm day there as well, 61 degrees, just a little cooler, but a very light breeze around 6 miles an hour, making it feel about 61 degrees as well. But as we're heading out the door for our travel, we do have some winds in some areas making a little bit of travel impact, most notably on I-80 between Cheyenne and Rawlins, where we have that wind coming through, giving us a little bit of travel impacts. But I'll have more forecasts for you coming up, including on what to expect with this snow coming down and when it will come down after our break.
Leave it.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look and see what we got going on here tonight, tomorrow, and what's going to happen with all this snow. So here in Riverton, it is a little cloudy here and there, but definitely some sun will poke through those clouds later on today, and it's nice and warm. But heading over to our nationwide currents, we can see right where a front is, where this green meets the orange, and that's going to be our cold front, bringing in a little cooler temperatures, as we can see off to our west, colder temperatures in Salt Lake City, West Coast, Portland, things like that. So colder temperatures are on the way here for us here in Wyoming. And we also could have a few thunderstorms here or there, just a rumble of thunder or two. As here in Cheyenne, we're smack dab between a risk of thunderstorms in Nebraska and over towards Rawlins as well. So a couple thunderstorms could happen throughout the day. Just be prepared for any rumbles of thunder. But the main event will be coming in tonight for Cheyenne and tomorrow night for Casper. But that doesn't include our temperatures here today, as we're pretty warm. 69 in Cheyenne and at Douglas, 63 in Casper, 80s on the eastern edge with Torrington, Scottsbluff, and Sydney as well. A little colder on the western half as some blues are creeping on in with temperatures in the 50s and 30s as well. Taking a look at tonight's lows, we are going to be below freezing for a lot of the Cowboy State, mainly in Casper, Buffalo, all the way down towards Rawlins and Laramie. A little warmer in Cheyenne, about 33, just above freezing. But that's going to be a problem a little bit, as we do have some snow coming into the area tomorrow morning, starting with Cheyenne into tomorrow. And it looks like our regional outlook doesn't want to go out too far, but we are going to get some snow in the Cheyenne area tomorrow morning, and that will move out into tomorrow afternoon. Not a lot of snow is expected, only about 1 to 2 inches in the Cheyenne area, and over in Casper, about 1 to 2 inches as well. So not a whole blizzard or anything crazy, but that snow won't stick around for too long either, as we're going to have temperatures above freezing for tomorrow's highs, except in Cheyenne, where it's a little cooler. That snow could stick around a little bit longer. But if we take a look at our temperature trend, warmer temperatures will return after this cold air moving through. We can see that cold air is going to move through on Friday, Saturday, and then get on out of here to our northwest, or northeast, I should say, and bring in the cold, warmer air from the southwest into our area. So we are going to warm up very quickly after we have this cold blast of air. As we can see, tomorrow very, very chilly, about 36, but into Sunday and Monday, back into the 60s. So warmer temperatures will return. We're not going to stay too cold for too long. And taking a look at our extended forecast, there's that snow and rain chance on Friday. Right after that, warmer temperatures, plenty of sun on the way to get rid of all that snow that we get. Again, it shouldn't be too much snow anyway, but whatever we do get should melt off pretty quickly. Over into Casper, a little bit less of a snow chance, and it will warm up after Saturday with the sun coming out and those Wyoming winds coming back as well. All of your full extended forecasts for you in just a bit. Let's head back to the desk for now.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is looking to the future of COVID-19 as the country enters a new phase in the pandemic. A senior administrator official says DHS is launching a $5 billion investment to help develop new types of vaccines and treatments. It's called Project NextGen. The government is looking to get ahead of the rapidly evolving coronavirus. Researchers hope the next generation of vaccines can shut down before the infection ever gets the chance to make anyone sick. This comes as the public health emergency for COVID-19 is set to end on May 11th. E-cigarette maker Juul Labs is paying $462 million to 6 U.S. states and D.C. in the largest multi-state settlement yet for the company, which has been accused of contributing to the rise of vaping among youth. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on what this means for the future of vaping in the U.S.
A record settlement will now force retailers to secure Juul products behind counters and verify the age of purchasers. The e-cigarette company also has to stop using people under 35 years old in marketing materials targeting young people.
This settlement is really groundbreaking.
Lauren Wold was the lead writer of the American Heart Association's scientific statement on the health consequences of youth vaping in 2022. He says the Juul settlement sets a higher standard for all e-cigarette companies when it comes to marketing.
Other companies are also out there selling to our youth and addicting our youth to these products, which will likely have very devastating consequences for years to come.
Research from the CDC and FDA shows more than 2.5 million middle and high schoolers in the U.S. used e-cigarettes last year. Wold says we still don't know the long-term effects of vaping on young people, but it can affect lung health, cardiovascular health, and mental health.
I'm hopeful that it's going to send a strong message to other companies outside of Juul that these practices will not be tolerated.
Juul says the settlement means the company is nearing total resolution of its historical legal challenges in securing certainty for our future, which now totals more than $1 billion. The company says it can now dedicate even greater focus on our path forward to maximize the value and impact of our product technology and scientific foundation. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Last summer, the FDA ordered Juul products to be removed from the U.S. market. A court temporarily blocked the FDA ban, so products are still for sale in the country. The suicide rate is climbing in the U.S., reversing a 2-year decline. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released a report Thursday, which showed the rate of suicides returned to a near record high in 2021. The death rate was 4 times higher among men than women that year. It was the 11th leading cause of death nationwide, and the 2nd leading cause of death for people between the ages of 10 and 34. What is my kicker? We could take out kicker. Jamie Foxx is recovering after suffering some kind of medical scare. The Oscar-winning actor's daughter, Corinne Foxx, posted about her dad on Instagram Wednesday. She did not release many details, only saying Foxx, quote, experienced a medical complication Tuesday. She shared that he was on his way to recovery due to quick action and great care, and ended her post with asking for prayers and privacy for the family. A spokesman for Foxx declined to share any further information, including the exact nature of the actor's medical condition. From 2 tiny animal surprises to a winner of today's Dumbest Criminals Award, Patrick Cornell brings you these 2 stories in today's Take a Look at This.
You may have heard of Polly Pocket, but now there's Pearl Pocket. Well, just Pearl, that is. This pint-sized Chihuahua had earned the title of world's shortest dog by Guinness World Records. At 3.59 inches tall, Pearl is shorter than a popsicle stick, and her body is only the length of a dollar bill. The 2-year-old weighs a minuscule 1.22 pounds and loves to dress up. All together now. Aww! Speaking of adorable, check out this scene that happened on Shelley Beach in Queensland, Australia. 130 loggerhead turtle hatchlings were released back into the wild, cheered on by their human supporters as they marched into the ocean. The eggs were found last month and brought to Taronga Wildlife Hospital after temperatures dropped too low for them outside. According to the Taronga Zoo, the endangered species normally lays their eggs in southeast Queensland, but this group on Shelley Beach was the southernmost nest on record. And finally, a man had to be rescued in Edmonton, Canada this week after finding himself in a very unique situation.
I see this commotion with the firefighters, flashing lights. I pull up, couldn't believe it. Some dude is stuck inside the Talos Balls. Look at this.
Yes, apparently this art lover took things a little too far, climbing up the sculpture and slithering inside. But it seems the man did so without planning his exit strategy and found himself stuck. After being freed, the, art enthusiast was fined and released. Let that be a lesson, children. Art is to look at, not get trapped inside of. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Celine Dion has debuted a new song. The release comes just months after announcing Dion has a rare neurological disorder that affects her singing. On Thursday, a post on Dion's Legacy verified Instagram account shared the news that her single Love Again is now out. It's the title track to the forthcoming film of the same name. The post featured a lyric video with scenes from the movie in which Dion makes her film acting debut. The caption read, quote, "Mark on your calendars, May 5th, the movie hits theaters. And on May 12th, the full album featuring 5 new Celine songs will be available." In December, Dion revealed she has a stiff person syndrome. She said the disorder was causing spasms that made it difficult to walk and hard to use her vocal cords to sing the way she is used to.
What the fuck do you want now, you fucking piece of shit asshole?
Speed weather. Let's see. And welcome back, folks. Real quick wrap up around the area. We do have a snow and rain chance on Friday, cooler Friday ahead, and then we warm up into the new week. And then up north from Sheridan Douglas, no rain expected.